Hi, this is Terry Rose. In this section, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the white light method of manifesting miracles from more of a personal and spiritual angle. I do want to make it clear that the triangle formula for success and the 3 key scientific discoveries that explain why the white light method works can be used effectively whether or not you consider the spiritual side of things. By that I mean that the TFS formula gives you a framework to work from and come back to when you're wondering why things aren't changing. It's a down-to-earth, common sense, practical way to look at where your energy is going. It can make it easy to see why your life looks as it does. It shows you what needs to change if you want to get different results. The 3 key discoveries are there for you to take advantage of in any way you choose. Key number 1 shows that you don't have to feel like you're stuck with anything. Your brain is malleable, changeable, and it responds when you use techniques to change it. That leads to number 2. It shows how much say you really have because your brain and heart work together. They communicate back and forth and create electromagnetic energy. You can join the team, give input, and take an active part. That's a wise thing to do because the electromagnetic energy you create with your thoughts and emotions affects what goes on in your body. That energy affects your genes, even turning them on and off, which obviously affects your health and how you feel physically. All of that combined determines the energy frequency that resonates from you, which leads to key number 3. We now know that the quantum field responds to what you resonate. In a manner of speaking, it helps you turn your vibration into the reality that you will either have to or get to live with. We know that energy in the quantum field displays a characteristic of intelligence. It responds to the energy you put out there. It carries your stamp, what you've imprinted on it because of your thoughts, feelings, observations, and prayers or intention. We also know, as noted by Albert Einstein, that the quantum field displays quirky behavior. It indicates that at some level there is no time or space that separates us. At some point and in some way we are all one. It makes sense to me to think of that point as the place where our light comes from, the light that is the true essence of our being. During my NDE, the near-death experience I had in that car wreck, I didn't have my body, but I still felt like me and very much alive. Whatever I was, it felt like that part of me was flying through a dark tunnel and heading towards the light. My body was back in my totaled car that had crashed into a ditch, which no longer seemed important to me at all. You may not even believe that my experience was real. Some people choose to believe it's happening in the brain, even when that's impossible in some cases. Those people had no brain activity at all. I understand skepticism, and I'm fine with it. I don't know what I would think if I was in your shoes, but many people do want to know more about my experience, so that's why I'm talking about it. I'm convinced that I did leave my body and go into the light where I gained an understanding of things that I can't even begin to vocalize. There are several things that never leave my mind that I feel are very important. One thing that made an impression, and I've heard others say the same thing after having an NDE, is that we put so much focus on things that don't matter at all and very little focus on the things that are vitally important. I saw how important it is to increase our capacity to feel love and decrease our tendency to react in fear. Most people stay focused on what they don't like instead of doing something to change it. They just keep thinking about those things and building up more negativity. I saw how destructive that is. We are powerful beings in a physical body, designed to co-create life as we live it. We're the ones creating the problems. It isn't our Creator who is doing things to us. We do that by thinking about things, observing them, and attaching strong feelings to the thoughts we're thinking. It's true that energy flows where your attention goes. That means that you can focus your energy and attention on creating outcomes you'd be happy about if you're disciplined enough. You have to stay focused on your vision and live it as if it is happening now instead of reacting to things that are going on around you and dwelling on those things. Most of the time, the human brain is referencing painful, negative thoughts or bouncing all over the place. Then, when desirable things don't happen, we feel that we're not good enough, smart enough, young enough, old enough, good-looking enough, the right color, gender, or born in the right location. It's none of those things. It is belief, perception, and focus of energy. Things aren't done to us. We have been given the power and free will to do them to ourselves. You can stop doing that right now and instead stay focused on sending your energy to your new vision. You have to stay focused on it, and you do that by developing your skills that make it easy to stay focused. This program is full of ideas, practices, and techniques that will make you a manifesting master if you use them consistently. When I care enough about a goal to do the practices and keep my energy focused until it feels as if it has happened, those are the times when I have seen miraculous things happen. You may have heard my story and understand what I did when I bought my first house many years ago. That example is one where I had absolutely no doubt that I had manifested that situation. I didn't discuss what I was doing with anyone. I made a decision that I wanted to buy a house. I created a special place where I was living at the time, and I went there as often as possible to play in my imagination. I had decided exactly what I wanted in my new home, such as a fireplace, a deck, and I wanted to see horses and a body of water when I looked out of my windows. I practiced using all of my senses, making it seem as if I was actually living there. It began to seem more and more real. Within a very short time, I got a phone call from an old friend saying that he thought of me when he saw his neighbor's house that was for sale. He had called to try to talk me into considering it, having no idea that I had made the decision to buy a house already. It had every single thing that I had been visualizing and more. A loan easily fell into place, and within a couple of months, from start to finish, I was living in my new home in the country. I could light a fire in my fireplace, look out my front windows and watch the river roll by, and enjoy watching a field full of horses that belonged to my neighbor. So when I think of that situation and others like it, when I did everything inwardly and nothing outwardly, can you see why I'm so adamant about our abilities? And please, if you are, don't question if this will work for you too. Instead, compare what I'm doing with what you're doing. I have skills only because I practice doing things that you can do too. Are you practicing something every day so that you're getting better with things like visualization and using it to observe things in your mind, or with recognizing feelings and getting your body more familiar with positive feelings so you can associate them easier? Are you catching your negative self-talk? Are you finding clues to help you discover limiting beliefs, perceptions, habits, or patterns that need to be changed so they don't block your success or keep you in a holding pattern? Each of those has been put into bite-sized pieces in the cheat sheets. I ask that because so many people just dabble and then jump to something else that seems more exciting. Believe me, that won't get you anywhere. Being honest with yourself works best. Tell yourself that you're going to have to do some things that may not be exciting to you in order to get to a very exciting place in your life. You can break out of that place where you feel stuck if you will just do these simple, easy-to-do practices. Sometimes I don't feel like doing them either, but I do because it is firmly planted in my head that it is unacceptable to miss a day. Doing nothing means I go backwards. It puts more distance between where I am and where I want to be. I don't want to lose ground, and I don't with just a 5-minute-a-day commitment. If you won't commit and do something, anything from the cheat sheets for 5 minutes a day, even while doing other things so that you don't even need to take time out from your day, then there are other issues. Just face that and don't keep saying that you don't have time or that you don't know what to do. This program was created for busy people with cheat sheets, short exercises, and in a way that any piece can be picked up and used separately. You don't have to know things or do things in sequence. Just pick up a piece and use it. I've developed skills, and that's why I get results. I'm not doing anything that's hard to do, and the results are pretty astounding. Just think about this. Nothing was said to anyone, and no physical action was taken in any way that could have gotten the ball rolling when I decided to buy a house. What got the ball rolling was an idea, a commitment, and an intention that was fueled by my feelings about it. It was observed as if it was real until somehow that reality manifested. It took effort and energy, for sure, but it didn't take physical work like so many people insist is necessary. You are always resonating something, and your light, your energy, is powerful. So it is important to pay attention to things. It's important to think more in terms of energy and ask what you're resonating. We aren't encouraged to think that way, so it can feel very foreign at first. But when you use the white light method, you're taking charge. You're playing an active part in designing and shaping your circumstances. Knowing you can do that gives you a true sense of freedom. It feels liberating. You think in terms of possibilities instead of fearing what life hands you. When life does hand you something you're not too happy about, you can just start working on creating a new triangle, a new vision, feelings, and self-talk that you can resonate to the field. You don't have to feel so dependent on information that's coming from a source out there. Much of it comes from people who have limited vision, or even worse, and very common these days, from those who are thinking more about their best interest instead of yours. We limit ourselves by blindly accepting what we're told instead of asking questions of people out there and ourselves inside. You can form a habit of asking your inner wisdom what you need to know that you're missing or not seeing. Many times we accept things that are told to us by people who may only be passing on what was told to them. The person telling them might not even know as much as you do. When I was in the light, I could access information there and understand things in a different way. I suspect that we can access a lot more here too, if we want to. For example, many of our great inventions came about because of dreams or ideas that flashed into the minds of the inventors. Where did those ideas come from? Today we know from studies that information is transmitted to and from us, and that our bodies react to emotional occurrences before they even occur. We know that a lot of information never makes it to our awareness, but you can let your brain know that something you're interested in is important to you, that you want to become consciously aware of things related to it. And, as if by magic, you'll see that things start showing up that you never noticed before. We simply have to stop being a part of the arguments. They're only causing more division, anger, and fear. We could be focusing on a new vision and working to bring it to life. Everything starts as an idea, a thought. You play with it in your mind, feel it with your heart, and resonate it to the field. As more people use these practices to create happier lives, it gets easier for all of us. It takes only a small number of people at a higher vibration to shift the energy of a lot of people at a lower vibration of energy. Just do the practices that I talk about in this program. The white light method really does allow you to manifest miracles. It's not rocket science, as they say. It's a commitment to 5-minute practices, and then you can linger longer by accident or with planning. When I don't have something on my schedule, I don't set a timer. It's common for me to lose track of time and find that it's an hour later just because I love being in that special place I've created in my mind. I love what happens there and what I take away with me that helps me all day long. Life can be very challenging, but we have practices that sure can help. Clarify what you want to change, use your imagination to see it, your emotions to feel it, and then stay focused enough to resonate it until it becomes reality. If you're not able to feel what you want to feel, then use the information in the DIY Blockbuster coaching or contact me for help if you need support or don't want to do that work on your own. To become a master, you have to practice and develop your skills and abilities. If you practice, you will be successful. Not everything manifests as easily as other things, and there are reasons for that. Your beliefs create patterns of behavior that have to be changed if they're holding you back. Many people seem to think that the law of attraction is all about deciding what you want and visualizing it or saying affirmations, and then it should manifest. It can happen from doing those things, but I bet you don't know many people who do it like that and see their dreams become reality. I think there's a big piece that's missing from that idea. When I was in the light, I saw things through a completely different filter, and that has never changed. I came back with little interest in acquiring material things. I'm not saying that that's the way everyone should be, that having money, creature comforts, or material things is wrong at all. I'm just stating what my experience was. All I could think about was changing how I felt inside, changing the person I saw in my life review. I was willing to do whatever it took to get back to that place where I had been and to feel what I had experienced. My soul's journey and growth is what seemed most important to me. I woke up in the hospital knowing I had to change some things in order to get back there. I feel like on a soul level, I had agreed to go through whatever was necessary in order to create the internal change I desired. I don't think I'd be where I am today without the challenges I've had. I can see how challenges can be very good things. I think they help you stay on the fast track if that's where you decide you want to be. You learn a lot from your challenges. You can get pretty complacent when you don't have any. I don't think we necessarily have to experience pain as long as we're raising our vibration without it. I knew I had to become more compassionate, grateful, and loving, but for me, it took a lot of hard knocks to get things figured out. I personally feel that those qualities developed in me when I went through some deeply painful experiences. I started seeing things about myself that I hadn't seen before. These are the things I think you can learn about yourself by going within and asking to be shown what you need to know. I think when you do get that, life can change pretty quickly. That is why I encourage you to keep asking your inner self, your higher self that knows your soul, what you need to see, know, or do that you're not seeing, knowing, or doing. I do believe that there are beings who watch over us. I think they are assigned to us and that they work with us on an inner level. When you ask for their help, they will help you all right, but not always in the way you would like. I think my best example of this is my experience where I earned a luxury car from a company I was working with. I did everything right, and it just didn't happen. I was passionate about the product. I became an expert in my field. I cared about people. I spent money on marketing to increase my volume, and I put extra effort in to learn from the best. For 2.5 years, I worked at doing what happened for some in 6 months. By then, I had found, trained in, and was working with different types of energy work. I was fascinated with it because it was the one thing that had healed my back when nothing else would. I was also working with clients, helping them find and remove subconscious blocks that were causing stress and health issues. It suddenly occurred to me to see if I had a subconscious block that kept me from getting the car I wanted. I ended up finding some anger, resentment, and abandonment issues and used energy work to clear them. I felt better and continued using my triangle formula for success as the deadline drew near. Then, as if by magic, a multitude of sales flowed into my account 5 minutes before the deadline. It was enough to qualify me for the luxury car. I had felt something clear away, and it allowed me to feel different inside. I believe that is what I needed and wanted on a soul level, so the car was kept at arm's length and used as a carrot to keep me moving forward on my path. Things are not always equal because I have seen things like this happen many times over the years. There have been plenty of other times when something literally appears overnight or even within minutes. When something isn't happening, and I know I'm doing everything I need to do and in a way that normally causes it to happen, then I go into my secret garden and ask to be shown what I need to see, know, or do. If my spiritual views don't fit with your beliefs, you can still use the practices. They'll help you take control of areas that are probably only doing damage until you do take charge of them. You're always thinking about things, seeing images that represent your thoughts, and creating feelings about them. You're always resonating energy that affects other things. Those are facts that technology can measure and monitor. Ignoring the way things works only makes you vulnerable and your thoughts easy to control. There's a lot of that going on these days. So in my way of thinking about the white light and the spiritual side of things, you don't necessarily have to be spiritually minded to be successful, as success is defined by some people. But my idea of success is to know the peace of success, to experience inner peace, calm, happiness, fulfillment, to love life, to feel love, to be able to give love, and to get as close as possible to that feeling of bliss that I experienced during my NDE, wherever I was when I came out of that tunnel and into the light. The feeling I experienced is what drives me. I want to get back to it. I do what I do, coaching others and creating programs like this so that others who want that can come as close as possible to that feeling too. The exercises in this program and the processes I speak of will develop your skills and help you focus your energy in a way that will manifest your goals. The energy in the quantum field will respond to you. But if you have this program, you probably feel as I do, that there is more to you than the physical body you walk around in. There is a wealth of wisdom, guidance, creativity, support, and supply that you can tap into by looking inward. You cross that bridge that takes you from the outer physical world to an inner world where you can shape the light, the energy that is at the foundation of everything. You get to shape it into the forms you design in your mind's eye and send it out with your intention to manifest it. And I believe that when you see the light around the situation and ask for only the highest good for all, that things will happen in a way where you do no harm. Your heart's desires not only become reality, but your soul grows and moves forward on its path too. Having material things is an important part of our existence, and having an abundance mentality is something to strive for. There's no reason to feel guilt or any feeling that falls into the fear category because you desire physical comforts. But I do believe that what we all want more than anything else is to feel inner peace, contentment, and happiness. We don't always see things clearly, but when you do include that spiritual aspect in your planning, designing, and manifesting process, you'll be taken down a path that is just right for you. People have opinions and give you advice based on their experiences and knowledge. Looking inward and seeking guidance there allows you to get it from a source that sees the big picture, not just an angle of it. There's something inside of you that knows your soul and what it wants. It doesn't get distracted by all of the noise in the world or by those with agendas or manipulative ways that try to lead you where they want you to go. You are involving a powerful creative force that knows the shortest path to your heart's desires. Your inner self sees more than you can possibly see with your physical eyes. Thinking of the light, the creative, intelligent source energy that is within you, imagining and playing with the vision you've created, seeing yourself surrounded by light, and imagining it carrying your intention out and bringing it back to you, gets miraculous results. Surrounding myself with light is a daily ritual and a habit that I'm sure has benefited me in many ways. Even my very religious, church-going, doctrine-following mom developed the habit of seeing the white light around herself, asking God to protect her and keep her safe. She has had some incredible experiences where she believes the light protected her. One very dramatic experience happened at Christmas time around the year 2000 when I was visiting her. She came to me literally shaking like a leaf and white as a sheet, saying that she knew it was because of the white light that she was okay. With her trembling voice, she kept saying that it was the light, that it couldn't possibly have been anything other than God and the white light. We had practiced envisioning it around her earlier, something we often did when we were together. She said that she was in the process of taking a very bad tumble as she headed down into the basement. Instead of crashing into the cement floor, she was scooped up, carried about 25 feet to the closest wall, and suddenly found that she was safe, unharmed, and leaning against it. I believed her because many times I have seen miraculous things happen like that. I believe we can build and strengthen our relationships with that power and call on it for help, guidance, and protection. And I believed her because she's my mom. The white light is all about keeping you safe, empowering you, getting ideas that fit in with your highest dreams, and moving your soul forward and closer to finding that place of bliss that I got a taste of during my NDE. I think the best thing to do is to spend time in your sacred space, magic garden, inner workshop, or whatever you choose to call it. Get comfortable and familiar with it so it's easy to get there in a flash. Then, during the day, or whenever you want some help, you can dart across that bridge and tune in to your inner self, ask questions, and listen for messages, guidance, urgings, promptings, and get creative ideas. Then you can take action and do what you feel led to do. If you're doing the practices that develop your skills and building a relationship with your real self, your higher, wiser, creative self, you have a winning combination. I think it's time for a movement that sends a wave of light and love around the world. It's time for all that's been suppressed to be released, all of the inventions, discoveries, healing methods, medical treatments, life-enhancing new ideas, and 21st century solutions to the world's problems. I've heard many trustworthy sources say that they are out there but being suppressed. I believe it because I've personally seen evidence of it. That's why I've committed to doing practices that improve my skills. Instead of being angry about some of the things I've discovered, the trap I once fell into, I've decided to be my most powerful self and go at it from a different space. I know that nothing can overpower light and the vibration of love, so my focus is on my intention to create that vibration, hold the feeling, and see the vision of better things to come. I hope that you'll commit to whatever tugs at your heart, whether it is for health, wealth, or anything that helps you feel more love for yourself, for your loved ones and others, and for your life. I think it is our responsibility to become our best and most powerful selves. I hope this program will help you become a manifesting master and accomplish great things as a conscious creator.